That. Let's play the theme song from last time just to get things going. Okay.
Biscuit live, gonna save my soul. That guitar solo almost made me cry. The news is wild, but I'm losing control. Deep breaths now beneath the open sky. These moments fleeting, but worth more than gold. Biscuit live, gonna save my soul, or maybe just waste my time. Biscuit live, gonna save my. Biscuit live,
Somewhere
gonna
in
save
between
my.
is probably more accurate. That's supposed to be very tongue-in-cheek, obviously, but I want to talk about something that's really bugging me. I don't know. I don't have all the answers. Obviously, nobody does. Anybody that says they have the answers is full of shit. But this microphone is really big. It's committing a felony in some states. Here's the question I have, and I was reading through a thread from the Nashville area, and what confuses me. I know this is not the first ice storm that's ever happened in the region. I want to check that. Probably not, though, right? It was worse than usual. But 30 states declared a state of emergency. There were very similar patterns of ice and snow that caused damage. Why is it that Nashville's so bad, and why is it taking so long to restore power? Now, here's the other thing. The people of Nashville have been told, this is my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, that their increased power bills previously were justified by improvements that were being made by the company, okay? Including replacing the wood poles, which tend to snap and break when there's heavy ice, with metal poles. Let me repeat that. This is not recently, this is a couple of years ago. So they were in the process of replacing the wood poles with metal poles. One other thing that's very interesting is Nashville has gone through a huge boom in population. So I would imagine that the electrical grid has also been put in areas where it previously wasn't, which begs the question, if it's going out in those areas, are they using inferior material? Because anytime you have 14 people that die, anytime you have people that die, and it's a result of a conscious decision by anyone, whether it is Ford executives who decided to go forward with the Pinto, knowing that it could explode, or when they took 25 cents worth of metal out of the columns of the Ford Ranger, and when it rolled, it popped, crushed it like a pop can. Or the similar Chevy S10, sometimes it broke the back window. Point being, when they're making decisions that risk lives, the standard legally is for recklessness is a conscious disregard of a known risk of substantial injury or death. It's like if you drink and drive and you're going 100 miles an hour, actually if you just drink and drive and someone dies as a result of that, that is reckless because you know drinking and driving is a stupid thing to do. If the executives of NES, the power authority in that area, made a decision not to follow through on things that would have avoided this previously, you can't fix it quickly. And one thing I want to stop right here and say this. This is what's the problem with our country right now is it is divisive. If government should do anything, this is an example of where we should come together and where our leaders, which we really are lacking any leadership. And I'm not saying Republican or I'm saying all of them. They're just ding-dongs. We're fighting over these fringe issues. In Missouri, for example, they boycotted the Chief Justice of the Missouri Supreme Court's State of the Judiciary speech because the Supreme Court struck down a Senate Bill 22, which they deemed to be unconstitutional for different reasons. So that's how the system works. It's checks and balances. When the Congress or when the legislature do something unconstitutional, the courts go, you can't do that. Do you not want to have a constitution? Do you just want to have mob rule? Because that's where we're headed. I worry about that. I feel like we're watching our republic disintegrate and people are cheering, which just scares the hell out of me. It should you too. But the divisiveness, and a good example of where government and where leadership would come into play would be in Nashville right now. The president should have been there. The governor, all of us should be focused on it because it's an American city that is going through difficult times. Hey there, how are you, Courtney? Thank you for stopping by. Hey, and Channel Lover, thank you very much for stopping by. I don't know if you guys have been tracking what's going on in Nashville because it was like over 175,000. Then yesterday I double-checked the statistic. Now it's 75,000 people who are without power. We're talking 11 degrees. You can die inside an hour in 11 degrees, hypothermia. And the problem is, this tends to, if you have cash and you can go stay in a hotel, if you can find one with the vacancy, if your car will go, you can go stay there for how long? I mean, if you got to drive to relatives in Alabama, if you're in Tennessee, to survive, we got to go to work. Can't even go to work. There's no power. Anyway, massive emergency situation. No heat, no power, and we're going on 2 weeks right now, and it has not gotten that much attention. Meanwhile, we're focusing on fighting each other. There have been 2 deaths in Minnesota that have got a lot, and they should. I'm not saying they're not important. That's got a lot of attention because it's the immigration issue, fighting back and forth. Here's a fun fact for you. More people were deported under Obama than Trump. Just say, look it up. It's a fact. Doesn't make sense, does it? No. It's crazy. It's like, I feel like I'm in Alice in Wonderland sometimes. So the point being with Nashville in particular is I have a lot of questions. And I'm not saying they did anything wrong. And did anything wrong. I want to know if they did. But the other thing is the people who are working to restore the power, God bless them. They don't get to make those decisions. They do what they're told and they're out there working their ass off in very difficult and dangerous circumstances. That is not something that you take lightly. You don't deal with that much electricity. Otherwise, so that is, the argument is not, or the beef is not with them at all. We're all on the same side here. We're trying to figure out what happened and why it went wrong and how we prevent it. And was it foreseeable? Because if you're using shoddy material, just like Ford did with the Pinto, you know that if somebody taps the back end of it, it's going to explode. You know how many of my relatives had Pintos? Quite a few back in the day. They were a weird-looking car. There was a period of time where American car designers, I don't know, they were drinking the Kool-Aid or something. So my point is, that's what's wrong with our government. They're not doing the things they should do. Government should provide basic services, roads. The utilities are publicly held, right? Now, if these publicly held utilities, if their executives are getting bonuses and they are getting rate increases with the supposition, they're saying, hey, we're going to improve the infrastructure. I'll tell you where I live, and I am not in that part of the zip code, but in my zip code is one of the most affluent, wealthiest zip codes in the country. And there have been days if the wind blows, the power goes out. Not in their neighborhood, but in mine. I mean, really, one day there wasn't even a cloud in the sky and the power went out. I don't know what happened. A tree fell on it or something. It's because they have better systems. They're buried. They're not relying on poles that could snap. Ooh. That's what drives me crazy. We have the technology for this. Why do we keep doing it half-assed? If this country is great, but we make some stupid freaking decisions sometimes. Over and over and over again. Like the roads we put in have to be replaced. Well, that's great because the construction companies keep getting the work. It'd be nice if they could do something else. Like build more shelters in case there's a freaking ice storm and people are freezing to death. These are questions that I have. I don't have the answers, but we need to be asking these questions and we need to consciously When we watch the news, tune out the shit that is just meant to divide us. I stopped watching CBS. I am not liberal or conservative. I'm neither, because labels are bullshit. I see the issues. I try to research the issues as best I can. I may discuss it with people that I think are smart, or just anybody. I learn from everybody. We all should be learning from each other if life experiences are different. I learn from my dog a lot. But point being, it's a discussion. It's not a yelling match where you're trying to shout down the other person. I would love to go one-on-one with Nancy Grace for an hour, half an hour, whatever. The one rule would be she can't cut off my microphone. She can attempt to scream over me. Eventually, she's going to look stupid. There's a lot of issues that I have with her. She is a hate monger and a fear monger, just like other people are. They manipulate emotions. So when you're watching the news or when you're engaged in social media, be aware, is this something that we need to be paying attention to? Show leadership in your own life and push those away who are going to try to distract you from what is important. And right now, there's 75,000 people who don't have power in Nashville, and that's important. The politics is bullshit. That's about power and money. I don't give a shit. Right now, there's people that I care about that don't have power, that don't have heat, and I'm worried. That's normal. That's compassion. And it's lacking. And God bless the workers who are trying to restore it. I'll be back on later. I just wanted to raise those points so we can start this dialogue where we discuss the issues that are affecting us and not the fringe issues. In Missouri, they use abortion as a separation issue, as a divider. It's divisiveness. It's to rally their base. It's bullshit. I'm not saying it's not an important issue, but can we just agree to disagree on that one for a minute and talk about the fact that the murder rate in Kansas City is out of control? If you're in favor of life, hey, how about people being killed all the time? Be in favor of not having that happen. Just an idea. Just a thought would seem consistent. Oh no. Well, we can't do anything about that. Why not? You haven't tried. The first step in solving a problem is admitting you have it. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox. Peace out. I appreciate that I have this opportunity to at least speak my mind. That I'm grateful for. And I'm grateful for you. Be good to each other. Peace. Whoop, hit the wrong button again. I do that a lot.